Greetings, good things. Welcome back to the Plan and Story podcast, curated by myself, Carman Tyra. I'm here broadcasting from the Ohlone area in San Jose, California, in case you didn't realize. Welcome. And here we're just attempting to expand ourselves by referring to myself as a collective we, and hello to everyone that I now know maybe is listening. Welcome. Already getting off track, and that's okay. This is also a non-linear time travel catch-up starting back in March and catching up to now, which is about middle towards the end of May. June, I think, is next week. And we are here today. Continuing the storytelling tradition is so important. These moments are lives, they happen once, and at least we're not remembering typically if they're happening again. So it's important while we are here. It's important while we remember that there's going to be others after us, even if we're not here, to capture these stories and really appreciate the experiences that we have. And that's really my impetus for starting this podcast and really just wanting to document through voice, because it's been a pleasurable medium, to capture what has happened. So, March 30th, got to go to the Gensler's office in San Jose for the second time. It is on Santa Clara Street. I believe it intersects with maybe Almaden, and it's right across from the Hotel Dianza. It's on the 11th floor, maybe somewhere up there in the towers. And it's an architectural firm. So I'm walking in there. It's beautiful, as a nonprofit worker who works in buildings that are slated for demolition, one of which being in the basement. It was such a welcomed contrast to be able to be up there and to be amongst familiar faces, unfamiliar faces, and to be there for a panel. It was very, very exciting. Haley Cardamon was moderating a Sparks conversation, and the panel featured three artists who I have the honor of knowing: Alyssa Wignant, Erin Salazar, and Elba Raquel. Each of these individuals are, beautiful souls, objectively beautiful faces, I suppose, and it was just I'm catching myself, dealing with this gender issue in my brain, and it's something that we're subject to, and especially now, in May 2023, the topic of gender and gender identity is so prevalent and affecting people's daily lives, and it's affecting my thought right now, and just trying to just describe some people, and they're artists, they're local, they're here in San Jose. And I just remember feeling really proud and really intently listening, because often too, these moments are so fleeting and so quick that we don't get to really sit down and learn from someone. I'm someone who's still learning how to just have conversations with strangers again. How do you get to know someone in, just a few minutes, and what else can come from that? And I feel like this talk was like a long time coming, and me just like learning even more about these people who have been able to share brief moments with and understand their inspirations for creating their backstories, and also a little bit more about their present as well. This might be recorded somewhere, so if you check out planandstory.co on the interwebs, I will, in the text post, see if I can link a recording to the talk. And there was a wonderful slideshow that was shown, just sharing a little bit of their portfolio of their work, especially Alyssa from the Silicon Valley, uh, being a multiracial individual, Filipina background, European background, and seeing the very just Silicon Valley like arc of survival, but then at the same time, there's the sustainable tech piece to their journey. There's also this just like fire for art and just that living art on a daily basis, whether you're putting the concentrated effort into it that turns it into something that's a public piece of artwork or something that gets you to this panel. I feel like there's so many of us out there that are just able to tap into that art of creating, and it's just so beautiful to watch, and everyone experiences it so differently. And that was a little bit of a slice. On April 1st, I was able to visit Scrap for the first time. Oh my gosh. Two things. If you are a creative or a hobbyist or however you want to refer to yourself, and you have just tons and tons of paper scraps, old photos, Kodak slides that you thought you were going to use for a project, and now you're just ready to let them go. Do not take them to Goodwill. They might not accept them and put them out on their floor. Do not take it to Savers. Same thing. They might sort through it and they might not put it out on their floor. Bring it to Scrap in San Francisco if you are close to the Bay Area, because it is a treasure trove of old magazines, photos, glass jars. There was so like I listed like maybe like 4 things. There was so much. I spent a literal hour like in the smallest like square footage, and I didn't even go in all of the sections, because if you need like zippers or buttons or scraps for sewing, if you need needles, if you want to look at patches, postcards, like so many things they had there, and that could be turned into craft supplies or we were there in preparation for San Jose Day, which is the event that really knocked me off my feet. And I'm kind of just now rerouting myself and getting to these catch-ups, like I said in the beginning. So in preparation for San Jose Day, we were, Local Color was offering custom button making. So to get some collage supplies in addition to content magazines we had like duplicates of, and like other magazines just at the studio. To be fair, I definitely kind of hoarded a couple. There's some things that you just don't want to cut up, or going to Scrap, filling up 2 tote bags like to the brim, like a little tote bag and one of those like expandable ones, filling it to the brim with like art forums. It was fun to just look. It was just fun to peruse, and I just can see my area of drawers in my brain of just like, oh, this could be for a project, this could be for a thing. Like, honestly, yes, it can. And if you don't need that in your home, there's a place, again, like I said, that you can donate it to. And then of course on the flip side, if you are a teacher, if you are a nonprofit, if you are just an individual who needs some access to some supplies to create things out of, and again, you're near the San Francisco Bay Area, check out Scrap. It's so cool. It is so visually just overstimulating and amazing and incredible. And wow. That brings us to April 7th. This is a what do you dooza kind of day. And the answer to you say to what do you dooza is a little bit of everything, as little bit as much as I can. And I could really see how hard I was pushing myself. And it definitely was like to create content for this podcast, and my brilliant idea to have this like super beautiful backlog and then a strong launch on April 20th, because beautiful things bloom on April 20th, and Plan and Story was one of them. So the internet website again access went live. A couple episodes have already gone out, and here we are again today, one day at a time. And on April 7th, I started the evening at MACLA, got off of work, strolled down the sofa. It was beautiful. I'm sure the blooms just blooming, not the intense allergy trap that we've been in recently, if you're here in the Bay Area. MACLA is one of the institutions where I got my start in the official working nonprofits world after graduating high school and being an associated student body for all 4 years. I took my little resume and, walked it down First Street, because that's where the Sub-Zero festivals happened and still happen, which is good to say. And the music in the park, I was able to just get on the light rail really close to home by Almondon Lake, take it, do the transfer at OC at Ohlone Chinook, and then take it all the way downtown. So cool. Ride the VTA, support them. It helped me have mobility as a 17, 18-year-old here in San Jose. So very fortunate for that to be so close to one of the fastest and most reliable forms of transportation in San Jose. Being able to do that landed me at MACLA, and the first things that I had experience with as a business intern at a arts nonprofit was both an audit and an auction, which I think it makes sense for how I got to where I am today, not sitting here and doing this for my own joy. And this was around the same time. This was actually the opening day for their Latinx Art Now auction and exhibition. So before all the artworks go to auction, they're up in the galleries. It was up for quite a while. It just recently closed. They had their auction outdoors at Parque de Pobladores, right across or right outside and across from MACLA. And that was May 20th, I think, is when it closed, and it opened on May 7th. Such incredible pieces of artwork, and it immediately makes me emotional to feel just so a part of the present art history that the world is creating. To be able to say, like, oh my gosh, like I know that person, and to see how much their work means to them, and then to see them being honored and appreciated and celebrated and receiving resources for it, because again, that's the world we live in and that's important. It feels really good. Yep. Oh, I got me. I got myself. So yes. Always great that there's documentation. Again, check it out online with all of these recaps. I'll try to pair all of the visuals that I can so that people can kind of enjoy and feel a little bit a part of it too. After doing a full intake of that piece, I scurried over to Japantown. Empire 7 is an institution that, and when I say institution, I just mean like it's really woven into the fabric. There's so many connotations behind that word, but when I say institution, I guess I mean both. Like they have the resources, they're established, they have the time behind them, and Empire 7 has that. And it's such a trip because I feel like I kind of only like knew slightly of Empire 7. I have friends that were like in the Oban festivals and we do dance, so like I've been to like rehearsals over in Japantown before, but maybe I just never fully went that far. And there's this other place on 13th and I think Oakland, like right before you get on the 880 or the 680, in the same ish area that Japantown is in. And I always thought that lot was where Empire 7 was. And it's still like undeveloped. This is like a very like long-term undeveloped lot now. And fortunately, though, that is not the case for Empire 7. And this event was being organized by Catalyze SV. And I heard about it through the San Jose Arts Advocates Group, two entities, organizations, advocacy groups that I highly suggest that you listen to. Again, if you are also listening to this podcast and you're here in the Bay Area, this is your invitation to get involved and the reminder that there's so much going on. So Catalyze SV organized this event at the exhibit. And this is a market rate housing complex, but it's LEED certified. And what's really, really unique about it is the partnership that ended up forming between Landforge, a development architectural firm, and Empire 7, this displaced arts organization. It was a gallery and like a major fixture in San Jose for a long time. And after being displaced from their brick and mortar and existing kind of just through programming and murals and art, they were eventually able to get a really concrete seat at the table with Landforge and be a part of the process in being built into this building. And it's a really beautifully designed building. There are really special, well thought out like plant situations, the way that the benches, like what the wood of the benches are made out of, and how they age over time. They've like carved out these like really beautiful outdoor spaces, one that's like semi-enclosed. One of the really interesting fun facts was that none of the windows like face each other. They're just all perfectly angled to be offset. So it's a really intentional modern designs, like done in not like an overly sterile minimalist way. Like they even have a collection. So, the building is called the exhibit. They have Empire 7 as the ground floor anchor space, and they're able to curate, and they have a separate collection of curated artworks throughout the building. So it was really incredible that Catalyze SV helped coordinate people who didn't live there to be able to see the interiors of spaces. There was some council members there. There's people like me who were just like interested in learning more about real estate and the development process and the city planning process. Other members from the San Jose Arts Advocates group. Um, so yeah, just a little bit of everyone that was interested in just understanding how development can be done in a way that benefits more than the single company or developing agency, and that benefits the surrounding neighborhood just as much as it benefits the people who are now able to live there. So definitely check it out. Empire 7 is doing so many things. Like they get so many honorable mentions of events that I'm just a joy to know that they're happening and then I'm not able to make. So that was incredible. Afterwards, I went to the Culture Night Market. I feel like this was their second event, maybe at the Seven Trees Community Center. And so much happens in terms of arts and culture on a downtown level. That's probably really similar for most cities, but not everyone has the capability of transporting themselves to where something's happening. And so it's important for organizers to consider, what if I bring events to them? And that's what Culture Night Market does. They've expanded out of downtown somewhat out of necessity, but also it's just been this really beautiful organic growth to filling some missing gaps in the arts and cultural activations in the city. And it's so exciting that it's being recognized now. There is some really cool, there's like handmade glass bead folks. The Ting Shik Box Shop was there selling their delicious snack. There was Honeyco. There was clothing. There was someone that had really sick stickers, and they were doing some live painting. Again, whatever photos I have, I'll definitely share them. And really awesomely, I was able to see Carino again. So hello. I didn't accidentally, I very intentionally was able to take your photo. And in going back, I couldn't remember for the longest time what your name was. So hello, Carino. Your music is beautiful. Welcome back to San Jose. They had shared like in the first performance that they had left for a while, and that was their first one. This was at another Martha Street event. I should say more than that. Martha Street Empire 7 SJ Makers event. And yeah, it was just so cool. And it was so cool to see her again. And there was like kind of like a sing-along song in Spanish and just like really beautiful, inspiring songs about like celebrating your elders and yeah, just all good things. All good things. And then still on April 7th, went to the Orifice in San Jose for the first time. Find them on Instagram. I'm not sure like how like don't blow up the spot kind of situation that they have. They throw shows and they're ticketed shows and they definitely deserve the economic support to keep going. But I'll leave that to them for their own. I'll tag you and if I can promote you more and if I go to another show there, and I can say more, I will. But it's in the basement, and it's just like this small room with like dense fog machine situations and lights and strobes and this every night is different because it's always a different DJ and it's multiple sets as well. And so this night was there to support the Rumi, Lo Uros, getting down on the um, keys and DJing some keys. There was definitely some keys in there. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful set. Danced the whole time. It was great. And then the other sets were definitely like a lot more like another level of like instrumental. I cannot, maybe drum and bass. I don't know. I'd be throwing genres out there. I was just there to dance and have a good time and live out the seize the night, carpe diem. Sometimes you just can't stay home because there are just so many things, and if you have the energy, why not expense it on awesome memories? So that was a great trip. That ended definitely on the 8th, and 408 408 that's to be continued in part 3 of this time travelers catch up, the big one, San Jose Day. I feel like yes, that's definitely like its own tidbit of an episode because really just that day I'm definitely not going to get through that without crying, so I'll just pause here on way after midnight starting on a night of April 7th, ending sometime in the late early nighttimey AMs on April 8th, San Jose Day. It's been great. It's blowing my mind. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.